But you can't go on CNN. You know, everybody wrings their hands about Fox News. You know, fair and balanced? Why, that's snide. You know, yeah, okay, maybe they're not fair and balanced. But CNN used to have the slogan, "You can depend on CNN." Guess what? I watch it. No, you can't. So what's the difference?
Let me ask you to comment on a couple of people. Bill O'Reilly, what's your sense of, you had him on your show recently?
Sweet, big-hearted.
Yes.
It's just like a marshmallow, just like a big hug. You ever been on a walk on the beach and you feel a breeze coming off the ocean? If you listen closely, it's saying to you, O'Reilly. I don't have a problem with O'Reilly, other than whatever's going on with this other thing. But he is less reactionary and less knee-jerk. I think his issue is ego, and that's the explosiveness of his personality. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, he's one of the more reasonable commentators on that network. You know, I literally heard Neil Cavuto saying, if you protest the war, you have to go to the house of a family who'd had a soldier killed and protest on their lawn. Like, you really thought he was going to end his, you know, news piece with motherfucker. You know, like, you know, I think O'Reilly, when you listen to his point of view, is actually relatively reasoned. It's just wrapped in a big bowl of ego.
What do you think happened with Dan Rather in 60 Minutes?
Well, when you're old, things slowly, you know, we've all been there. You know, you walk around the house, where are my glasses? And your wife goes, Did anyone check these memos? I think that's right. I don't know. I don't know that it was malicious. I would probably say that I think there probably was a certain more of a sense of glee and excitement that they had in thinking that they had gotten something that was a bit of a smoking gun on the president. I think that probably created more excitement for them than it would have if they had found, let's say, the same type of memo on Kerry. So in that sense,
you buy the liberal bias argument.
But the liberal bias argument has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
No, what you're saying is that if they found the same on Kerry, they wouldn't be as excited.
Dan Rather, I don't think would have been.
So you think he does have a liberal bias?
Liberal bias is now you're talking about a different thing. That's an activist stance. I'm saying that internally, you know, there are subconscious things that work. But this idea of liberal bias, by the way, that's a strategy. There's a difference between what Fox does, which is activism, and a so-called liberal bias, which is a bunch of people. If you watch the news networks, and this is really the judge, I think, in my mind, who would have covered the war differently as a network if a Democratic president was in office? And I think there's only one network that would have, and that's Fox. So that's an activist stance. The others, the bias of the media is not liberal. It's lazy, and it's sensationalist. But it's not liberal. There is no, I don't watch, there is no active, strategy which is employed on Fox, an active strategy of advocating for conservative or right causes. And I think Roger Ailes would, in a quiet moment, let's say if he was getting a hot stone massage, with release, would. But they are part of an overall 30-year strategy of putting together a way to reconsolidate power. By the way, well within their rights. I don't have a problem with that.
You don't?
No, absolutely not, because I don't consider them news. I consider them an active political arm.
But when they say we're fair and balanced, it doesn't bother you if you believe that?
If I believe it?
You believe what you said about Fox, and yet they call themselves fair and balanced. You don't think that's false advertising?
Oh, I absolutely believe it's false advertising. When did we start worrying about that? That's my point. I mean, if the presidential election commercials are not held to that standard, why should news organizations? That's what I'm saying. We've lost accountability. And just because they are, why whine about it? Why not create a television organization that's not liberal but credible? Why not create that has the same passion that Roger Ailes brings to his cause? And I admire what they've done, because what they've done is they've shown the way to a new paradigm, a new media paradigm. that this type of programming can be successful and profitable. But I don't think the answer to it is to set up Al Gore's television network and fight it with liberal strategy. A, because liberals are shitty at it and won't be able to accomplish it. I mean, you watch Crossfire, watch Paul Begala's eyes whenever he has to do the partisan thing. He keeps him down. He feels shame. Liberals feel shame. Shame doesn't work when you want to accomplish that. But imagine bringing to a 24-hour network, and this gets back to our point about what should have been done differently in the debate. It's not about what should be done differently in the debate. It's about what should be done differently on a 24-hour basis. Fox didn't come out of the gate and earn its conservative street cred. You know, Roger Ailes obviously being at the head of it helps because he has a reputation and he has a certain knowledge within that. But they earned it over time by presenting a narrative. I don't think that narrative is helping, just like I don't think Al Jazeera's narrative is helping. I think it helps make them popular, but I don't think it helps the country. I think there's a responsibility within the media to help. But you could create a paradigm of a media organization that is geared towards no bullshit and do it actively and stop pretending that we don't know what's going on and stop pretending that it's a right-left question. I don't buy that the world is divided into bichromatic thought like that.
Where do you get your information from?
My information? The tickers on the top of taxis. It's, for me, God forbid, if I were to leave my apartment and go to work and miss a sports score. So for me, it's always about as the taxis go by. Sacramento defeated the Clippers. Interesting. No, I think it's an excellent use of roof space. Where do you get yours?
My news? From the ticker at Times Square.
Is that near where you work?
No, but I go.
You know it's biased, the ticker.
It is?
It has a phonetic bias. Look for K's. You don't see K's on the ticker. Very interesting.
Let me switch and talk a little bit about you.
About me?
Yeah.
Sagittarius. Oh, sorry.
You grew up in New Jersey.
When did you turn into Lipton? You grew up in New Jersey, you know. Hawthorne once said, Jersey is as Jersey does. Thoughts? I get it. I felt like I was getting too serious. I thought, joking, like me, that kind of thing.